Well. Guess what? It's time for another great episode of Real Men Being Men. Real Men Being Men. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. Just a question asker. My name is Raheem Aljamain out of Atlanta, Georgia, but I got my brother from another mother, but we got the same father here with us, Captain Leonard. Good. I was gonna say good morning. Good good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Man, I'm doing fine. This is Leonard Jones, Vice President, New Order National Human Rights Organization, right out here in Georgia,
Right.
Atlanta, Georgia.
And right out here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we also have Ryan. Ryan, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing well. Tell everybody where you're hailing from.
Detroit, Michigan.
What up, though?
What up, though?
There you go. There you go. We got a few other brothers that's definitely gonna be coming in. I'm getting myself together, but I'm gonna go ahead on. We're gonna kick this thing off. And Leonard, I'm gonna start it off with you. Leonard, now how long you been married, Leonard?
23 years.
23 years. 23 years. Okay, now Leonard, I'm gonna ask you this question. How does it feel? How does it feel when your wife looks at you and you can see the love in her eyes that she have for you? As a man, Leonard, how does that make you feel?
Secure. You
Come
know,
on.
it's a lot more than that. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
the romance of it to me is immature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, romance is great for certain occasions and things of that nature. However, when you know that that person is down for you,
Mm-hmm. Come on.
that's what makes the difference to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not, I don't play. I don't play.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be genuine for me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know, it
Mm-hmm.
can't be something somebody else liked that you looked at and thought you liked. And you
Mm-hmm.
know how sometimes women get carried away with what they saw on TV or have this preconceived notion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not into that at all. It has to be genuine for me.
Yeah.
It can't be just an imitation of somebody else.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. That's good. Man, I can tell already this is gonna be a deep one right here, man. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson. Good evening, sir. How you doing this evening? Tucson?
I knew I was gonna have a problem with this mute button.
Sound like you got both of your jaws full to me, man. That's what it sound
So
like.
do.
Look
So
at that's
do.
what it sound like to me. I'm just saying, it sound like you got both of your jaws full. But
Both of them. So do.
Tucson, how does it feel? How does it feel when your lady looks at you and you can see the love in her eyes that she have for you? Tucson, how does that make you feel as a man?
Let me look.
My man, go ahead, boy. Talk to me.
Let me look. Well, I'm happen to be grinning just
Mhm.
about now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah. I mean, you have no idea, um,
Yeah.
Raheem. I mean, I take that back. You got an idea,
Mhm. Mhm.
but everybody's different.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? Some people are less expressive as others. You
Mhm.
know, but sometimes we smile on the inside.
Yes, sir.
We don't tell it all. We don't like, we don't like to show our emotional side.
Mhm.
I say
Mhm.
we.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I got it. I got it bad, really.
Mhm.
But it ain't nothing like it. I tell you, as well.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying it because I'm on. I'm looking right
Mhm.
now to see if I can see what's in the eyes.
Mhm. See, and yeah, I'm listening. But see, and that's the thing right there, man. Sometimes, and there's not a lot that could make us as men not be able to express ourselves in certain ways, but seeing that love in her eyes, because she is have to be one of, if not the most important person in our life, and to look in her eyes and see the amount of love that she have in her eyes for you, and you know that's for you, Tucson. That's powerful, brother. That's
Well,
powerful.
let me throw something out at you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to see it.
Yeah.
You
Come
can
on.
be across town and know it. That's even
Mm-hmm.
better.
Mm-hmm.
For real. I'm talking about for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You all know what I'm talking about.
We all know what you're talking about. Yes, we do, brother. Yes, we do. Let me go to Ryan.
It's clear.
Oh,
For
go ahead.
real.
Finish your thought. Go ahead. Finish
No,
your
it's just clear.
thought.
It should be. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And there should not be any doubt in the world. There should not be any doubt in the world. Let me go to Ryan. Ryan, I want to ask you the same question, brother. Now, you've been how long you been married?
Uh, we've been together 20 years.
20 years. Okay. How does it feel when you look in your lady's eyes, when you look at her, and you can see the love that she have for you in her eyes? As a man, Ryan, how does that make you feel?
Make you feel warm and cozy inside.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not ashamed to
Mm-hmm.
say how I feel. Like most of us as men should be so blessed to have somebody in our life that returns the love that we give to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in some cases, just being real, some of us don't give our ladies the love that they give us in return.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when I come home from work and her eyes get all sparkly, she's just looking at me like I'm the best thing since sliced bread, even though I
Mm-hmm.
come in the door and looking some kind of way and maybe kind of agitated for the day. It's still a wonderful feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's makes it really truth of the matter that make it all worth it. Whatever you went through at the end of that day, whatever you went through in that day, whatever the situation was, that makes it worth it right there. When you go, because you know there's gonna be that treasure when you get home. When you get home, there's gonna be that one treasure that you can always count on. That one treasure. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
I think that, some people, from a man's point of view, there are some men that are great pretenders.
Mm-hmm.
And I am definitely, say for instance, if I would say something to my wife along the lines of something that she had heard or something
Mm-hmm.
before, she would look at me and tell me I was full of it
Yeah.
because that's not me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not genuine.
Yeah.
I'm not so much into all, like, I like what kind of how I think what Tucson was getting at. It's not really for me a look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
A look can be very deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
It can be completely made up. It could be something you just thought you liked to do because you read a book about it and somebody gave you advice out of a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell how old I am. I said magazine, but
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna say that. I'm gonna let you ride with that one. But yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of old,
like
that bro.
how some people get used to that commercial stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Chocolates. You need some chocolate. Well, if she 350, she don't need no chocolate.
There you go.
That
Mm-hmm.
ain't romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Some women, I love flowers. My wife loves flowers. I bring flowers so much. We just love flowers that way.
It was if she 350, she don't need no chocolate. Go ahead,
I'm
brother.
just
Go ahead.
saying, you got you. Come on now, y'all. You don't do that, Ryan. Don't do that.
Come on, man. I tell y'all, man. I listen to every word y'all say, man. This dude
But
said if she 350, she don't need no chocolate.
you in there with a big box of chocolates, and you know her sugar high. But I think it's something special between two people, and you all find what's romantic to one another.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the made up imitation, dictated, something you saw type stuff. To me, that's not romantic at all.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have those women that are, some women be very fairy tale like,
Yeah.
and like Ryan said, it may not be something that we feel,
Mm-hmm.
but we do it for her if she likes it.
Yeah.
as opposed to whether or not you like it. And we can get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes, it's not genuine.
Yeah.
And you were like, did you do it for the last one?
Mm-hmm.
What about the one before that? So I think it should be special between two people and not in imitation of something else.
Exactly. Exactly. Rico,
What's happening, man?
what's going on, man? Good evening. Good to have you with us, brother. Rico, tell everybody who you are and where you're hailing from.
Rico Jackson from Anniston, Alabama.
Rico, we're asking a question, and I don't think you're in a relationship right now, but I want you to reflect back on that moment. I want you to reflect back on that moment, and answer this question: how does it feel when you look in the eyes, when you look in your lady's eyes, and you can see the love that she have for you in her eyes? How does that feel, Rico?
This is the direction you're going in. Man, it's like you talk about like almost the look that they have in their eyes, like when you get married to them or you propose
Come
to
on.
them.
Come on,
You
Rico.
know what, man? It stank. It suck. I don't like it. They make me sick when they do it. I think they got something up their sleeve. You know how I feel, man. You know that make you feel good, man. You gonna ask some old question like that.
Yeah.
You gonna
The mushy guy. The mushy
okay,
guy.
you talk about something, you must be trying to butter up the women or something. Y'all, they know we feel good. They see that old smile on our face. We go
Come on now.
smiling and looking.
Look at you, just looking at just a smile. Look at
And
you.
you know it, man. You know how they make us feel when we do it, man.
Yeah.
I thought you were finna have a good question. You talk about some how it make you feel. It's so I don't like it.
I don't like none of that. I don't like none of that. As a matter of fact, I'm leaving. I'm leaving right now. I'm
Quit
leaving.
smiling.
He said, "Quit smiling. Stop smiling." You can't. You can't.
Nah, man. You know it's that's a good feeling, though, man. You know that's I mean, to me, honestly, it feels good to know that you were, I'm gonna say, beneficial or able to make somebody feel good anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, but in that situation with your significant other, yeah, it does, make you feel appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Rico, you just kicked my next ball out the field. Man, I have to go across the street get my ball, man, because you just kicked it out the field when you said appreciate it, because I was gonna go there. A lot of times, us as men, certain things we want. But one thing that we want, I think, on top of everything else, and y'all correct me, this is real men being men. So let's be real with this thing. We want to be appreciated. We want to be appreciated and know that the person that we're with, that she appreciates us. And if something were to happen, Rico, and we lose that or lose that feeling of being appreciated, what kind of issues could that cause in a relationship? Or is the relationship even over?
Man, it might depend on the person. If that person know how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't know how to communicate it to the woman, they might not knowing how to communicate it means they might not express it to the woman, or they might not know how to express it correctly. They might not be able to use the right words, and so it'll come out all wrong and then start coming off like an argument or something. Sometimes a man might want to make a point of view or say, give an example of how he's thoughtful, and she doesn't, even ask for certain things, but then she might say, "Oh, you throwing it up in my face?" Because he's trying to compare how he does with her compared to how she does with him or how she makes him feel. So I mean, if a man doesn't feel appreciated, man, it really depends on that man. I mean, he might have a short leash, he might have a long leash. Ain't no telling. He might have a short temper, he might be patient. But it depends. Sometimes people feel like I shouldn't have to tell you.
Yeah.
You should already understand that you are if you're a considerate person, I shouldn't have to tell you to show me you appreciate me. But then at the same time too, you do have to understand that there are some people that, on the woman's end, she might not know how to really open up and express herself properly or show her appreciation the right way. So hopefully you know that other person. And if they're doing something different and you really see that they ain't appreciating you, you can express it the right way.
Exactly. Ryan, what do you say to that, man? When a man starts to feel as though he's no longer appreciated, what can that do to the relationship as a whole?
I mean, it can do sometimes irreparable harm.
Wow.
You know, like for me and our relationship, I expect certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a strong word, right? A lot of people get offended by their significant other having expectations,
Mm-hmm.
but my expectation is she don't work, she don't drive,
Mm-hmm.
so I shouldn't have to be coming home and taking up in the house after her. Obviously, if
Mm-hmm.
she's sick or something wrong, not feeling well or something like that, that's a given. But for me, a form of appreciation for me out there busting my tail is coming home and my house being took care of, my kids
Mm-hmm.
being took care of,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
cooking dinner. I don't mind to cook. I like to cook,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just uh, what's the word? Like the motion.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in the kitchen making plans, and then I can be like, "Hold up, why don't you let me cook tonight?" You
Yeah.
know, just little things like that. So, for like Rico was saying, it just depends on the man. I've
Mm-hmm.
been with her 20 years. I know her in every facet of every part of her being, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so for me, it's easy. Sometimes still, even after 20 years, I have a problem in myself communicating how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, but some guys, it could be like, oh, she don't appreciate me. Well, I'm gonna go over here to this woman right here. She'll
Yep.
probably
Yep.
appreciate me for at least the next 20 minminutes.
Mm-hmm.
you
Or
know?
like they said last week, 3 minutes.
Yeah. Man, you might have to
Mm-hmm.
get that looked at 3 minutes.
Exactly. Exactly. Leonard, talk to me, brother. If a lot of men, if we don't feel, we want to feel appreciated. We want to know that you appreciate, our ladies appreciate the things that we do and how we do them, and intent in which we do them in. But if we feel that we are no longer appreciated, Leonard, what can I do?
Well, I hope your feeling is right. And you just be like, say, for instance, if something is not appreciated, I don't keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I change my behavior.
Yeah. Wow. So basically, it could be you,
Right.
because a lot of times people don't want to turn that mirror around. So that's powerful what you just said. It could
Mhm.
be you.
See, I don't, I'm not a very demanding person at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I married her because I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I just, she said some things to me that I was like, yeah, when she said she was down for me on my team, it's a go.
Mm-hmm.
That seals the deal because I don't require a lot. You know, we are very respectful and mannerable people. We teach our children that way. We, yes, please, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm getting ready to go. I love you. I see you later. That's just the type of people we are, you know. So I don't even, I can imagine how I would be if I was out there single right now because everybody seems so selfish. I wouldn't want to be with half of the people you see because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's so selfish.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got to do this for me, and you got to do no. I can go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be with you. You
What you
know.
mean? What you mean? You ain't gonna buy me no red bottoms?
You know what I'm saying? And I see the way people act, and I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
won't be there in the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will never speak to you again if you behave
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I've
Mm-hmm.
always been like that. That's why I never had girlfriends and things because I don't bow down to that BS.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm glad you said
You
BS. I appreciate that, brother. I'm glad.
and I think it's just horrible how people are so demanding of one another
Mm-hmm.
as if somebody owed them something. You know what I'm saying? Or
Exactly.
like a woman who thinks that someone else should be making her happy. Or I can't imagine an argument. Well, I bet you somebody else, boom, get your
Mm-hmm.
stuff and get out
Go find them. Go find them.
immediately.
Go find them.
I'm not tolerating it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never have. I can be very bold about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I'm very bold about. You're not gonna love me no any kind of way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
These women say, "You better get me this." I remember, I think someone had said, "Well, I need you to get this for me," and blah 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 blah. Never spoke to him again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
get down like that.
Exactly.
Don't be unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be unreasonable.
Exactly. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, talk to me, brother. When you start feeling unappreciated, what does that do?
My man.
There you go.
Oh, hell. Brother P.
Tucson, when you start feeling unappreciated, what does that do? What does that
You
do?
know what? I'm kind of like Leonard. I think that I need to check myself.
Turn your volume down a little bit, Pete. I muted you, man. Turn your volume down just a little bit. Have some background coming through. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead on Tucson.
No, I said I need to check me. Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't check nobody else. It's not my job checker.
Mm-hmm.
I check me.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that I feel like, because man, let me tell you something. I'm gonna just throw something out here for free.
For free.
Yeah, I hurt my shoulder. I can't lift my shoulder. I have limited access in my left arm.
Mm-hmm.
But this morning I had to get dressed. I had help, man.
There you go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, look, I couldn't get down there. You know, you can't put your socks on with one hand.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I had some help, man.
And it made you feel good, didn't it?
What? I thought I was Mufasa.
Come on now, not Mufasa. Say it again.
The Lion King. but if we go like what? No. No. But if I feel like I'm not appreciated, then that's something that's on me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I should make her want me to feel appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be something about me
Mm-hmm.
that says, I'm going to show you that you are appreciated. And
Wow.
if that's not coming, then that's something that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Or not doing.
Right. Or not. Yeah. Because y'all know now, this real men being men, sometimes we can act kind of quick.
Come on now. Come on. Tell it.
Stubborn,
And number one truth. Let's tell it.
stubborn and
Foolish. Bullheaded.
and mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because we I can tie my own shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and you hurt.
Yeah.
Your crazy self.
Move, woman. I can tie my shoe. What's wrong with you?
Broke leg about to fall, and you trying to walk by yourself.
Exactly.
So yeah, Pete.
There you go. Let me unmute him right there. He got that volume turned up real loud. But look I'm gonna ask him this question. And good evening, brother. Good to have you, man. Definitely good to have you, brother Pete. There you go.
Yes, sir. I hope I'm not messing it up. Can you hear?
Your connection is real bad, brother. Your connection is real bad. It's like you're in a tunnel. Call in, Pete. Call in.
All right.
Okay, call in.
All right, let me try it again.
Okay, all right. We got somebody else on the phone line. Who do we have on the phone lines here? Let me see. Who we got on the phone lines? 256. What's your name? Where you calling from? 256.
That's Brother Hicks, your brother from
Hey, hey, what's up, man? Brother Hicks, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm trying to get the link to download my computer's running, so I'm doing fine though. Missed you today, bro.
Hey, man. Yeah, man. We had some issues going on this morning, brother. It was terrible too, man. Don't remind me because I was mad. I was
all right. You made it. You made it through though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm asking a question. And I want you to think back of this time. I want you to think back on this time, on the happier times in this thing called life. And how does it feel? How did it feel when you look at your lady's eye, look at your lady, and you can see the love that she have for you in her eyes. Mr. Hicks, how does that feel?
Oh, wow. You know, it's interesting. I told you I went to my uncle's. I went to his 100 year celebration with church, and I saw this flame from when I was 12 or 13. That's when love was innocent, and I guess seeing her, right, just maybe go back to that point when it was like it was a love, but it didn't have any kind of shades of sex involved.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't any kind of love. It's just her smile, her eyes, just being around her kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I was a virgin for a long time. I wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And I was thinking, it made me think about being at that church, and you know, it's the church I used to go to as a little boy. You know, it was play outside the church, speaking out of the church and stuff. I thought about the time when all the people I loved were still in there. My mother, my father, my brother, my cousin. So I went back and flashback. That was a good time. And I think, and looking at it that way, this is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about all the things that's in your life now. You know, they're there. They're here. They're right here on this plane, this level. But we won't always be.
Exactly. That's good.
Wow.
That's good. Rico, talk.
I got too heavy on you. I'm sorry.
No, you good. I like that, man. Hey, this is real men being men. So you just being real, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's do it. Rico,
Okay. All right.
go ahead. Finish your thought.
It's just, you know, I'm going through I guess we're always going through stuff, and everybody. You're living, you're moving, and things around your chest. You're always navigating yourself through life, through the confusion in the world, the confusion inside myself too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to incident when you lose, you're so disappointed in your children.
Wow.
You know, and I guess that is a spot that I was talking to my sister. She's a year younger than me, but she never had any children. And we were talking. She was talking. I said, maybe it's really hard to explain it to someone that don't have children. You know, if you don't have a child and you're talking about all that's involved, emotion, stuff involved, because you're going to be outside and you get the clear kind of, you should do this, you could do that. But when you're in the middle of that love thing, love makes you blind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing is that when your children, when you start seeing your children for how they are in truth, right?
Yeah.
Because they hide themselves. They want to pressure. They want to look the best in front of you. They hide it. It's just like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess sometimes I'm too transparent.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when you have secrets and when you start building secrets, and you start going along with lies, it just overcomes. So I look at my son and I see, and I almost want to say I failed.
Wow.
But
wow.
But he's still alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's good. Wow. Leonard.
Raheem?
Man, it's time for you to talk, man. What you talking about, Raheem?
I kind of one thing that
exactly.
One thing that Mr. Hicks brought up that reminded me of something, maybe a little bit off. But you know what? I'm not into childish women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, Mr. Hicks brought up a child. Now that's love.
Yeah.
That when a child looks at you and loves you feel it. Because that's the breath and width of a child's expression. You know, they not holding nothing back. It's innocent.
Yeah.
That's genuine.
That's genuine. Yeah. It's good.
And you know, you only get so long to feel that because they grow up.
Yep. Teenagers, they gone, brother.
You're right. You're right.
When they become teenagers,
there's nothing more I loved more than holding my little boy's hand as we walked and crossed streets and in parking lots.
Mm-hmm.
And me saying,
Yeah.
grab my hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't want nothing to happen to you. I don't want you to get hit. I don't want you to be in the way.
Mm-hmm.
See, that other thing that you were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
that's, y'all, how some of y'all been with so many women and lied so much, it's hard to know when you're telling the truth.
Oh Lord, see, we ain't gonna turn this. We ain't gonna turn this into no beat up. We ain't gonna turn this into no beat up the men. Now this is real men being men, not a boxing
But
match.
that's why
Not
I'm
a
getting
boxing match.
back to when you asked the question to me. It's the genuineness of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Good deal.
And how some men will have a woman that acts childish
Mm-hmm.
because somehow that's appealing to them. I like a grown woman.
And I'm gonna tell you something, Leonard, and we're gonna move on to our second square. But I've always been this way, even when I first had my little quote unquote girlfriend in elementary school. I've never liked a loud woman, man. Woman that's out there and just loud for no reason, just loud.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. That's an automatic turn. It has always been an automatic turn off for me, and one that, and I said this before, if she take out a pack of cigarettes and light a cigarette up, it's a wrap. I'm gone. No, don't care what you look
I'm
like.
just glad that my mother taught me the difference between real love and things that women just do.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
My mother used to say, just cause a woman give you what she got between her legs, that's not love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She don't give that to some of everybody.
Okay. Now, Leonard, can we move on, man?
Yeah.
Okay, you sure? Tucson. I'm starting.
Let him go. Let him go.
No, man, no. Tucson, what is? Listen to the question. What is your greatest fear? Tucson, what is your greatest fear?
Not having nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Look at this dude.
I'm just talking. No, but that might be one for real, because I find that I'm always supposed to be ready to give an answer.
Okay, Tucson,
people are. Go ahead.
We gonna go down to we're gonna take three shovel and dig real deep into this question, and I want to go to the center of the core of what is your greatest fear. Let's go to the center of the core of it.
Yeah, but for real, I'm scared of snakes.
Okay.
But I'm more scared of, and I don't say I'm scared of them. I'm watchful of them. The two-legged ones.
Yeah, come on.
That's the ones that are the problem. The ones that don't crawl on their belly, they walk on their feet. Underhanded, undermined folks.
Yeah.
That hug you and smile and grin and say that they're your friend. But they're undermining. They are dangerous. They are, and I'm really, I'm not to the point where I would be deceived by them. That I would not have the spirit of discernment. It's my greatest fear. That I wouldn't be able to see a person for who they are, no matter what kind of mask they got on. Because I try to be real as I possibly can be. And when I say I'm always ready to give an answer, then if I don't have a discernment about myself,
come on.
Sometimes I wouldn't even know when to be quiet. Because the greatest unlearned wisdom is to shut your mouth at the right time.
Yeah.
You don't always have to say something.
Yeah.
But being the loudest, we talked about women, but being the loudest one in the crowd. Because empty wagons make noise.
Yeah.
But when you see people going through and you don't have nothing to offer to help, that's my greatest fear.
Wow.
To not be an asset. To be a liability in somebody's life. That's my fear.
Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Rico, digging deep, man, into Rico. Rico, what is your greatest fear? And I say your greatest, so that means your ultimate fear.
I like that one what Donna said about being, about being a liability. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my fears. But I think my biggest one is not being able to defend, protect, or save myself or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my biggest fear. You know, I saw a movie. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was Kiefer Sutherland was in it, and he buried somebody alive.
Mm.
And man, I had already imagined that happening, and then I heard about it. I used to imagine that happening when I was young. Then I heard about it. Then I saw that movie, and I freaked out. I mean, because I'm an empath. So like right now, I can if I could lay that, you know, I just saw down there when I said, well, I was up at 1:59 this morning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, if I get something on my mind and I feel like I put myself in that situation, I ain't going back to sleep. And that was one of those situations I was in this morning, in one of those scenarios where something hit my mind, and I was like, well, sleep is over. I might as well get up and exercise. But yeah, man, I used to sit back and think about that, man, and just to know, oh man. I mean, man, could you imagine being alive, but being 6 feet on the ground with in a box just so confined that you can barely even move like that?
Yeah.
Woo, man. And there's so many people on left here like that.
And see, the thing what people don't realize about that, man, you slowly, every breath you take, you're running out of oxygen, because there's only a certain amount of oxygen in that box, because that dirt is on top of it, and no other oxygen that's coming in. So whatever you have in that box is all you have.
You might not even be able to scratch or push or nothing. You might just be stuck still right there because they got you so compact and tight that you can't even wiggle. Ooh, man, golly, it still messed me up thinking about it, man. And then, like I said, I know people have gone through that.
Yeah,
that's the killing part. I know it has happened to people, man. That's one of my biggest fears, is being that vulnerable.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Ryan, what is your greatest and your ultimate fear? What is it?
If I had to put it in, I guess being alone. Like, my kids ain't here. My wife's not here. I ain't got nobody to talk to.
Let me ask you this question, Ryan, and you may be going in a totally different direction, so please excuse me. But what would that quiet do to you?
Put you in your head.
Wow.
You got to face your own thoughts, your own demons, instead of fighting and trying to protect everybody else from theirs. That's what I am. I'm a big old grizzly bear in a world full of rabbits, you know, and you know, that's been my whole life, is fighting and protecting me and mine, and to not have anybody. You know, I don't care if I'm, you know, all right, I don't want to say it like that because then it come off funny, you know, but if something were to happen with me and Z, we have that kind of relationship to where we ain't finna be fighting about the kids. You know, she'll stay right here in the house. I'll sleep on the couch. It don't matter. We'll make that work just for the kids. But to have all of that ripped away from me, that would be a bad day for society, because I would turn into a monster.
How much? And we're gonna go. As a matter of fact, got somebody else just calling into the phone line as well. And the phone lines are open: 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call, Ryan. How much of you being that protector, and them being there with you, saved you?
Oh yeah, 100%. My oldest is 19. And there's a pretty large, it's about a 6 or 7 year gap in between her and my second one. And just having her brought me down a notch, humbled me a little more. And for each one, you know, it brought me down. It took my heart from a piece of steel
Mm.
and it turned it into a an apparatus that has emotion and shows love. Because, you know, we've talked about it multiple times how I grew up. I didn't have no heart. I was stone cold.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to know you. If you wasn't part of my circle, don't speak to me or we finna get it on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just how it was for me. Stone cold. I ain't gonna say killer because it never took nobody's life. But
Mm-hmm.
if you push me there, I'm gonna, you know. So having these kids just it softened me, and it softened me so much. I got my wife's hair on my head. I ain't even got no hair. But
That's all.
um,
That's all,
I
brother.
just felt it. I'm like, man, what's going on? Excuse
Mm-hmm.
me. But yeah, it softened me up a lot to where now, um, instead of pushing people away, I welcome people in. I love
Mm-hmm.
people.
That's
I
good.
want to know what's on your heart. I want to help you through that trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an empath in my culture, what you would consider a seer. I
Mm-hmm.
can sit in a room and read the room and know exactly what's going on, maybe not down to the finest detail,
Mm-hmm.
but enough where I can walk up to you and say, "Hey, man, let me holler at you
Yeah.
and tell you what's going on
Exactly.
and
That's
try
good.
to help that person
Mm-hmm.
along."
That's good. That's good. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what is your greatest, your ultimate, as a man digging into inside of Leonard? What is your greatest fear?
I mean, it ain't that deep. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
And every night I fight even in my sleep.
Mm.
Um, I ignorance. Every time I close my eyes, if I walk, say for instance, something simple as being in a hotel room. Once I leave that hotel room, the whole dream is trying to get back.
Mm.
I can't get back. I don't know where I'm going. I don't have no direction, and it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, say for instance, if I park my car somewhere, I'll never find it again. I'll
Mm-hmm.
spend that whole dream just looking for it, and that's it's just never ending. And I sleep from the moment my eyes close. I go somewhere else,
Wow.
and it's just full of anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't get back. I can't find my way. It's like I just have no real brain. I have no sense of direction
Mm-hmm.
or anything. And like, say for instance, I got to go to the airport. For some reason, I can't find my way to the airport,
Mm-hmm.
and it's horrible. And it's not even if I go wake up and go back to sleep, still there. It's almost like the Mel Gibson movie. I'm probably sure Rico probably know the Mel Gibson movie where he's the conspiracy person, and it's like being a schizophrenic almost.
Mm. Wow.
And it's just the whole dream is just like I'm gonna meet my wife at this location.
Mm-hmm.
I never know how to get there.
Mm. Wow.
I can't navigate at all. And that's the worst thing in the world to me. And it happens when I go to sleep,
Wow. Only when you go to sleep.
pretty much. I have a poor sense of direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like um it used to take me a while to remember how to get from place to place, which is why I just completely love GPS.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I've been lost in a forest before.
Mm.
So it's that sense of direction and not being able to find what I'm looking for.
Wow. Wow. How do you sleep, Leonard? Is it a peaceful? I mean, I know you're going through the traumatic situation
No,
in that, but how do you sleep?
I never rest. It's
Wow.
very difficult. I've rested with medication before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just has to be just right.
Mm-hmm.
I even take muscle relaxers and things like that to try to calm me down.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, I know the moment I go to sleep. I ain't had a good dream in a long time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's not
Wow.
my dream life. So I
Mhm.
don't sit around, and that's why I don't wish and hope and on things. I prefer more concrete.
Mhm.
You know, something I can actually do, feel, something I can actually dictate or control. I don't
Mhm.
like being out of control.
How, and we're going to go to somebody else. I'm ask you one more question, then we're gonna move to somebody else. For the thing of time, whatever that saying people be saying. Um, what is it like, Leonard, if you're in a situation where is you, because I know you said when you're in having meetings and different things of that nature, you're having meetings and all the different things that have to be structured a certain way, and they have to, if somebody say they're gonna do something, they have to do it a certain way. How does it feel when things are out of control in your everyday living life of living? How does it feel when things are out of control? What does that do to you?
It's horrible. It's just nothing but pure anxiety.
Mm,
And I have to go to meditation and things like that. Usually I'm not going to go anywhere that day,
mm-hmm.
or I'm not going to engage that people and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature,
Mm.
because that's my time to get
Wow.
myself together. I can't be present that because I have too many responsibilities
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. That's good.
to be out here crazy and just doing that. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
just glad it's when I sleep
Mm-hmm. That's good.
as opposed to when I'm out in public.
Mm-hmm. Because it could be a totally different situation.
Yeah.
Cornelius. Cornelius.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. How you doing
Yes,
this
sir.
evening? Hi.
Man, a little tired.
Little
Hold
tired?
on.
Okay, good. Want to ask you this question, brother. And I want you to go deep inside of Cornelius and tell me, answer this question at your core. But what is your greatest fear?
My greatest.
Fear.
Say my greatest what now?
What is your greatest fear?
Well, that's the easy one for me.
Okay.
My greatest fear, turning my back on Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's my greatest fear.
Wow.
Because everything that's in me is him.
Mm-hmm.
Like let him talk, sense of direction, my marriage, my life, my job, my finances, my every being is all in him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do I know this? Because I feared everything when my mother passed.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that covering was off of me, and I had nobody to cover me. And I was only 20 years old when my mother died. I'm 50. I'll be 51 this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's been over 30 years ago.
Wow.
And I had a fear come over me, like, what am I gonna do now? But when I turned my life over to Christ years later, not realizing that through life I was fearing so many different things. I had no sense of direction. I had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just living. Or not let me take that word living. I was just surviving.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing, surviving. I wasn't living, I was surviving.
Okay.
So when I accepted Christ and began to realize who he is in my life and what he's done for me from that point in time to today, everything, my whole being, my life is in him. So that is my biggest fear, man, to turn away from him after everything he's done for me in my life and loving me better than I can love myself.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that's the biggest fear I have, to turn away from God. So
Mm-hmm.
that's easy for me, man.
Good deal. Good deal. Brother Pete, going deep inside, Brother Pete, into the core of you, brother. What is your greatest fear?
Well, at my age now, I'm not elderly senior yet. I pray I get there. But my personal experience and where I am in life now, I don't have a whole lot of fear about things. I don't really care at all what people think. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody but myself. You know, my journey is my journey. I've been up, I've been down, I've been sideways and back on top again. So a lot of stuff that I used to give a lot of concern about, I could care less. And I just go with it how it goes. You know, I take it as it comes, and I kind of ride the tide, if I can use that as a acronym, meaning that if it's rocky, I'm gonna do my best to make it smooth.
There you go.
If it's down, I'm gonna do my best to make it up. If it's high, then you know we'll do our best to enjoy it, but not get outside of being reasonable or grounded, even in the midst of, you know, a high time. So I don't have a lot of fear.
Okay.
Fear is not something that I embrace at all in any aspect.
Wow, that's good. That's good. He said if it's up, he wanted to be get up, get down, get funky, get loose. I had a moment there, y'all. Excuse me. Let me go, Mr. Hicks.
No, not quite like that, but
exactly. Mr. Hicks, going into your core, brother. What is your greatest fear? Your ultimate fear? Mr. Hicks suggesting this. Okay, Mr. Hicks, you there?
Yeah, you hear
Mr.
me?
Hicks? Can I can hear you now? Go ahead. I can hear you now.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah. Yes.
You don't hear?
Yes,
you hear
we hear
me?
you.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. What is your greatest fear?
I must got Leonard on another channel because he's still talking.
No. Are you watching? Are you watching it at the same time?
Something's
his
going
connection.
on here. I don't know
His connection.
what it is.
Okay.
I don't.
We can hear you though.
I
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but I heard Leonard. Okay, I got you now. I was on delay. I heard
Okay.
Leonard talking.
Okay. There you go.
The side. Yeah, I'm back. Oh boy, that's a deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is my deepest fear? I guess when I was about 9 years, my mother waking us all up. We lived down in the neck in Jersey. We had the big horns and something was happening. She got us all out because we thought Gable was blowing his horn and Jesus was coming. I'm being real honest. And I remember that flashback to that fear when I was in a situation overseas in Vietnam. That same kind of fear. I think my biggest fear, and if I had the biggest fear, is that I would be what you call backslide. Some kind of way, I would go back. My mind would go back to. And you know, there's a lot of things around you. You know, it's almost funny. The more you know, the more you understand. It seems like you should be more selective, and it seems like it should make you calmer. But sometimes the more you know, and the more you start learning how deep the rabbit hole go, you get so frustrated. My biggest fear is that some kind of way that I backslide, that I turn back into a person, turn back to a person that didn't understand the goal. But it's almost like a double-edged sword. You can never unknow a thing. Once you know something, you know it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So you can't unlearn it. You can't unlearn it.
Oh, you can unlearn it. That's the backsliding thing. That's Peter. That's those people and those examples of Israelites. You know, going to the desert and still getting out of Egypt and then want some good food again. So it's like it's part of the journal that it's almost like a hero's journey. There are all these dragons. You're going along, and all these dragons are jumping out trying to get you. You know, they're trying to grab you emotionally in your head, your children. the world,
Mm-hmm.
your own life, and it's like so you don't win till the race is over. That's the funny thing. You're still in the race as long as you're alive.
Yeah,
you're running this race, but it makes you humble. It makes you not judge so hard. That it's not an easy path. I don't know everybody's story, but no, everybody ever got deep and talked with on any kind of level. They got a story too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had money and had all the other things. And you look on the outside. So when I was young, I had an opportunity to go into these camps with these suburban kids, and I was very uncomfortable with them because they was just too nice. They were just so nice. But yeah, I don't want to go backwards. I want to keep moving forward. I like to glance backwards while I'm going forward.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Rico, we got about 4 more minutes before we go to our next square, brother. What's on your heart?
No, I was thinking about the fear of being abandoned. You know, I still have dreams about it. Even though I'm grown, I don't worry about it. But I can remember when I was young, I used to worry about that. And it was ironic because I ended up being abandoned. But that was one of my fears, you know, as I used to always fear being left behind by my mom or my dad. I used to fear that they were going to leave me and wasn't going to come back. You know,
wow.
And so like I think unconsciously I fear losing my son. You know, being that we don't have a relationship because his mom has kept him from it so long, you know, we didn't get to have that bond, and you know, he didn't get to learn the things from me that a father is supposed to teach a son. You know, there's a lot of stuff he missed out on. So I think I fear us not having a relationship later on because of his programming and just him, you know, becoming who he is because of his environment. You know, sometimes people just, you know, they become who they are because they don't have any choice.
Yeah.
You know, I know plenty of people. I don't know if you watched that documentary about erasing families. Well, some of those children that were the victims of the parent that was alienating them from the other parent, even though they wanted to have a relationship with that parent they were neglected from, they still didn't know how to make that bond because they just couldn't create it. You know, I mean, that nurturing is something that has to happen.
Didn't know how to cross that bridge.
Real quality time.
Yeah, didn't know how to cross that bridge. Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? You can say all day long, well, I respect them because they gave me birth, but at the same time, you still don't know each other.
Yeah.
You know, you still didn't share some of those laughs and get to go through some of those bumps and bruises and just regular conversations. You know, so yeah, man, I think that's one of those things, man. I feel being abandoned.
Wow. That's good. That's good. And we all got so many fears. Let me and they're at different levels. They're really at different levels, man. And so, you know, people say, well, man's supposed to be strong, man. But what about the human part of us, though? What about us being human? You know, you say we're supposed to be this, we're supposed to be that, but what about us being human, man? Can we be human? Can we be human? Why can't we be human? See, and that's the part of it. Cap, good evening, sir. How are you doing this evening?
Man, I'm feeling good. Thank you for answering. Peace to my brothers.
Hey, peace as well, brother. I want to ask you the question, and I want you to go to the center of the core of Cap, and I want you to answer this question in the center of the core. What is your greatest and or ultimate fear?
I think my greatest fear is to disappoint God, number one. And to disappoint my family and those who love me and depend on me, number two. I try to take and be sincere with myself that I don't fear no one but God. And I mean that. You know what I've done. Went around the world 3 times where the man is not that popular among some, Minister Farrakhan. And to be a personal security, you can't be no punk. you can't be afraid. And if I was chose as one of his top men, it's because I didn't fear death.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing I didn't fear, dying. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I may fear living more than I fear dying.
Wow.
But death is it.
Mm-hmm.
Life is a doozy. Life is a doozy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would say I fear no one but God, and hoping never to disappoint. I heard my brother say that he feared disappointing or losing faith in Jesus. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do fear falling short as a man in the eyesight of my wife, my children, and those who love Captain D.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's my fear, brother.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Let's keep this thing going. I think we got I think we have Joseph with us as well. Joseph, you there?
Yes, I'm with y'all.
Okay.
And peace and blessing to all of you, my brothers. I
Likewise.
really appreciate each one of you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to echo what Brother Cap said. I have come to the place in my life. I wasn't always here, but I've come to the place in my life where I fear only God. Malcolm X said so many things that heightened my awareness, that lifted me as a black man. A lot of his teachings. One of the things he said was when he was being interviewed about that very question that you asked.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I died 20-something years ago. He said, I don't fear anything. And I came to that place, and I realized it's a place that you have to journey to. You know, Paul did not reach that place by accident. I mean, when he had that epiphany, that encounter on the Damascus road, you know, some prophets came to him and warned him not to go to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And they chained themselves up and did all kind of theatric in front of him. He said, I get it. I understand. But this is one place I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
And if I suffer the same fate as Jesus, so be it. And I feel that way because righteousness is a price. There's a price attached to it. To do right and to live right and to protest for right and to engage unrighteous forces means you have to be willing to die.
Mm-hmm.
I reached that conclusion because there are people in this world who are so wicked. They despise God. They despise what is right so much that, I mean, you could see it. I mean, they just will own a lie in spite of the fact that they're caught in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're dealing with. So I'm at the point now where I only fear God. When I leave here, hey, I'm gonna leave in celebration.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because I stand for and I stood for what is right.
Mm-hmm. And man, I don't know what you and Rico, y'all can see through my screen or something, but y'all looking at my next doggone question, man. And I think some spooky going on around here. But let me go to as a matter of fact, let me go to Rico. And I'm asking this question, Rico. What does it mean in all the arguments, all the situations that people have amongst each other? What does it mean to be right? And what makes one person right and another and the next person wrong? What does it mean to be right?
I mean, what does it mean to be right? It means to be factual.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
But see, if two people are having an argument, both of them think they're right. Now, one of them could be wrong, or both of them could be wrong, or one of them or both of them could have some elements of the truth in their arguments. Because a fella told me a long time ago, he said, if you're gonna lie, add some truth in it. And I'm like, well, why would you even lie? You know, that was my, why would you even lie? But that's his mindset. So if two people are arguing, they're not arguing because they think they're wrong. They're arguing because they think they're right. So what does it mean to be right?
It means to be right pertaining to the context. You know, sometimes people can argue different points, and then one person could go back and try to make themselves right by talking about how it can affect, how it could happen in another scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, in that scenario that would be true, but I'm talking about in this scenario. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, because you know you could be right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, based on the way you feel about it or the way you saw it. You go, I mean, it depends on who eyes you saw it through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you saw it through the eyes of one person or the other, you know what I'm saying, whoever is involved, it might be a victim and a perpetrator, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know as far as that goes, man. I mean, yeah, it really means something if say if it's in a situation where somebody's in trouble, being accused of a crime.
Yeah.
You prosecuting somebody for murder. You better be right.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be throwing somebody innocent in prison. That happens all the time.
Yep.
And then some people have so much pride and ego and driven by their career and success because they fear failure and they fear having a blemish on their record and they fear not getting success. So they got to make sure they get those wins. Then they say, well, you know what, man, before I sit back and address this mistake and drop these charges or go back and tell somebody that I did something wrong, how about we sweep this up under the rug?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know,
wow.
And so this sort of goes back to that last question you had, man. That's one of my biggest fears too.
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears is to be a contributor or to cause someone else's pain or downfall when they're innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the cause of something failing that's right or good. You know how some people can go in and destroy something that's good, and then I don't want to be the person that's the cause of something that's coming to an end that was working just fine. You get what I'm saying? So when you think about people having this drive and motivation to be successful, they are most of the time they want to always be right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happens in a lot of these situations with police officers. They want to always be right. They're in authority. Who wants to be wrong, but they're in the authority position?
Mm-hmm.
I'm right. We got the right to do this. We got the right to do that. But every now and then they run across somebody that can break them codes down to them and tell them you lying.
Mm-hmm.
But see, we would assume that they're right too because that authority word. We assume that they know what they're talking about since they're in a position of authority.
Mm-hmm.
So we would hope they're right too. But most of the time, or sometimes they might not be right. But yeah, that's when it matters. I think it matters when it's a situation where your livelihood is at stake or your freedom might be at stake.
Exactly. Toussaint, you wanted to say something, brother? Toussaint, you there?
No, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was just thought about something when you talk about the fear, but I guess I can tie it in. But I have this dream most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I have this same dream in different instances that I can't fight back. That bothers me to be in a squabble and can't throw a punch.
Wow.
To be totally defenseless, not only defenseless, but have no offense.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That terrifies me because I have that dream a lot of times. Be into it with somebody or somebody's trying to do something and I go to swing and can't in my dream.
Wow.
That bothers me. I don't even understand. But I just want to throw that out there because that's one of my fears.
Yeah.
To be in a situation where I have to defend myself or my family and can't.
Wow. Wow.
That's what came up.
Good deal. Now let me stay with you. What does it mean, Toussaint? What does it mean to be right? What does that mean?
I'm glad you continued because I wanted to kind of piggyback on Rico and then add and here's the thing. I think that when you are right, you have to be righteous. I think it would cause God to agree with you. It doesn't make no difference if nobody else agrees. Because a lot of people are right within themselves. But they don't line up with nothing God has to say.
Come on.
And they'll argue to the grave. The Pharisees and Sadducees, scribes, keepers of the law, doing the right thing, but totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to be right? To have God say yes.
Mm-hmm.
To what
Wow.
you do.
Exactly. That's
That's
good.
right.
That's good. That's
when
good.
when you can reflect back on His word, His promises, and the Holy Ghost agree with you.
Wow.
You right there. That's just me.
Good deal. Good deal. Cap, what does it mean? What in your estimation, what does it mean to be right?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
It means to make the action based upon truth. If I'm right, then my action has to be truth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it means to be right, is to make sure your action is based upon truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Ryan? Brother, talk to me about what does it mean to be right?
Right is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can have plenty of scenarios where you believe in the deepest cores of your person that you're correct, but you're still wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Have you ever seen anybody, you've seen a heated discussion between two people, and one of them is just loud, but you know they wrong. You know they wrong, but they just
but,
loud.
but
They
that's
wrong.
one of those scenarios where you already know they wrong. 'Cause if they got to get all like that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Most of the time, they're being loud, trying to profess their truth onto
Mm-hmm.
everybody else,
Yeah.
but it's not really the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can still be telling the truth and be right in the guise of the truth, but you're still wrong because you got to
Mm-hmm.
keep your mouth shut on certain things.
Exactly. Be wise enough to know.
Yeah,
Wise enough to know it. And that's a big part of it right there. Finish your thought, brother.
that's it.
Good.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't really mince words with people. I don't tend to get into arguments. You know, I say what I gotta say. I'm one of those quiet cats. I sit back and listen to everything, say a couple words, and then walk away.
You know, yeah.
It's up
Keep-
to you to choose if you want to accept it or not.
Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Cornelius, what does it mean, brother? What does it mean to be right?
Hey, Ryan, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, I was just sitting up here when you said something piqued my interest as I was listening to everybody. I just looked up the definition, right.
Mm-hmm.
And it says what? Morally good, justified, or acceptable. Using a sentence, I hope we're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I looked at the synonyms to it. It says just, fair, righteous, good, virtuous, proper, ethical, honorable, honest, principled, lawful, legal, morally justified.
Mm-hmm.
All these things are fair or just, equalable, equalable. So when I began to look at that, man, I got to thinking, when you trying to be a person of integrity,
Mm-hmm.
you trying to do everything that's you want to make sure that you're being honorable with everything that you do in life.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you want to make sure that you're fair
Yes.
with things. You know, when you want to make sure that everything is cutting, right down the middle. And then unfortunately, everybody, we all come from different walks and backgrounds. Every last one of us.
Yes.
Someone been through this or someone been through that. Even in the, we talk about religious backgrounds. See, a lot of us that believe in Christ, we truly believe by faith that what the Bible teaches is right. By truth. Now, why is that? Because of our experiences, from the things that we went through, and that's why I stand on what I stand on. Now, I always haven't been this way.
Yes.
I really thought in my mind, what I felt doing what I wanted to do, I thought sleeping with a bunch of women, having sex, I thought I was right. But was I really right?
No.
Did I really truly have moral character? Was I really being fair to these women? By having one woman on the other side and going, after I sleep with her, go hook up with another woman 2 days later or a few hours later, have sex with her, and then go hook up with another chick, have sex with her. Was I being fair to them women?
No.
Was I being honorable? Was I morally justified in what I was doing? But in my mindset, I was right. But the Bible teaches that we shouldn't have sex before marriage.
Yeah.
That we should do all these things. So which one is right and which one is wrong? But when people will look at the Bible and say, well, it was written by man, how are you going to believe in something that's deceiving you and all this stuff? But when you out there doing that stuff and got all this mind, because the Bible teaches in Proverbs, the heart of man is above all and desperately wicked. A man's mind is right in his own ways. We feel this way because of our sinful nature. But are we truly right in what we've been through in life? Because of the ways, the things that we've been taught, the things that we've been done. My father used to teach me all the time, man. How many times have you heard this as men back in the day, coming up as young men? Get as many women as you can.
Yeah.
Sow your wild oats. Do all this stuff. Was that right, teaching?
Not at all. No. No.
It wasn't right. So what? So in saying that, when you come to a clear perspective and saying like, okay, let me do right by people. Let me be fair. Let me have an understanding. Let me walk with moral conduct. That is, and walk with honor and integrity as an individual. Let me obey the laws of the land. If a law's been set up not to run a red light, but you do it anyway because you like, well, ain't nobody coming. Are you still right in doing that? No, because the law's been set up. Why? Because if you run that red light, you can mess around and get pulled over by the police, or you can mess around and hit somebody. But in our mindset, we feel that we're right when we do something within us. So that's why it's so much there to unpack, man, that we just got to make sure that we're doing the things of honor, integrity, and moral uprightness. And that's just my take on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, what does it mean to be right, brother?
You know what? Sometimes right don't mean nothing but the opposite of left. But one thing, and the reason why I am the way I am now, unlike some of you, I've never had the privilege of not knowing. Never. That's why I don't make no excuses for anything. I prayed for wisdom and God gave it to me. I've always known what was wrong and what was right.
Okay.
I can't come to you and say, oh, I made a mistake and didn't know. No. Or I came to Jesus and changed my, no. For some reason, God gave me that gift. And whether I do it or choose to do it or not, it is truly a choice. And I'll stand against everybody on this call on that. I don't need another man's opinion. Right is right. And you can argue about it. You can try to make excuses for it or what have you. You're going to have to come to a point where you're going to have to accept the fact. You can't rely on all those crutches that everybody put up for you. Oh, I didn't have my father in my life. Oh, I didn't do this. Or I never had that excuse. All my life, I've had to suffer for the wrong I've done. And it wasn't no secret.
All my life I had to fight. Go ahead,
Which
brother.
is why I can know the difference. I know the difference
Mm-hmm.
because I've always known the difference.
Yes, sir.
When I hear people talk about I didn't know no better, I don't know what that's like. I just don't. So I can't even identify with it.
Mm-hmm.
How you didn't know? Look at the hurt and the pain that you caused. And then folks will say, like, well, God made me this way and this, that. How you feel about it? That's how you know you wrong. You don't
Mm-hmm.
made a choice to make you want to kill yourself. That's how you know you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Wow.
not rocket science.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
And whether it be a gift or a curse, that's the only way I can explain it.
Mm-hmm. Good
Only
deal.
way.
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd like to have your input. This is Real Men Being Men. We have what we call Four Square Conversation. We're actually in our third square right now. We're gonna finish this square up at the 30-minute mark, the halfway point, and we got one more square. That's gonna be very interesting. This next square is gonna be very interesting. But right now, Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother? What does it mean to be right?
It's right. It's I don't know. People, we as human beings are so complicated. You know, we respond to different things in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's the uniqueness of each individual. I think when most of my life, when I saw that whole thing about who's right and who's wrong, you have to have an arbitrator. You have to have somebody on the outside that can be objective. That's the only way you can settle those things.
Mm-hmm.
But most times when you're in a conversation, I find it frustrating me. I evolve in communication to learn. I honestly have a belief that when I'm talking to someone, that they might have something to tell me. Because in my experience, as far as like hearing from the creator, it's always been through someone's voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They didn't know they was doing it. They was just talking, but what they said, the words they said was right on the spot that I asked for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in communication and you're trying to win, right or wrong, you never learn anything.
Yeah.
You never learn what the other perspective is. But I sort of identify with Ryan in that sense, in the sense that I always had ability to read people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Vince Regan, my Irish buddy, he's gone now, boy, he was my man, pulled me out of prison. I couldn't understand. I asked someone, I said, I mean, why you pick me? What's that? He had studied to be a priest, but he had turned around and became the chief of the juvenile services. And he said, piercing insight. It took a long time to understand what he meant. But I know growing up in the house with my mother being an evangelist Christian, my father being inclined toward Islam and a Muslim, so I always had the Muhammad speak around. I always had the Bible. I was going to Bible in the middle of them, in negotiating and watching as a child, watching how both of them believe so strongly that they're right.
Yeah.
And it got to a point when I got about 11 or 12 years old, they would get so heated. I would never say anything. They would turn and say, they would ask my opinion. They'd ask me, what do you see? And I don't know what I'd say sometimes. I don't know how it always worked out, but I know most time it was a peace would settle between the two of them. You know, so being right and being wrong is a matter of perspective. Everyone believed they're right. When I was doing what I was doing, I thought I was right.
Exactly.
You know, I knew better deep down the core, but we're programmed by movies about Kunta Kinte and BLM, showing people getting beat up and killed off, you know, it can stir up your emotions, and get confused what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
But
wow. That's good. That's good. Let me go to our brother Pete. What does it mean? What does it mean, brother Pete, to be right?
What we do, think, feel, express in our minds and our activities out that we're at peace with, and we resolve and comfort ourselves that we're at peace with what we do, that's
Mhm.
right to us.
Mhm.
What's done to us that we don't like or we take offense to, we consider that to be wrong.
Mhm.
It's amazing how it's ridiculous when people say you don't have this conception, because if you don't understand the difference between right and wrong, then there would be no way for you to say that you like this or don't like this, or that
Mhm.
this is an offense, or this makes you happy. This is almost like a self-induced make believe insanity or a form of retardation that you're playing with. Somebody walk up to you and slap the taste out your mouth. Is that right? That's my way of saying I love you. To
Wow.
urinate on you.
Wow.
That's my way of saying I love you. To defecate in your mouth. That's my form. Come on, this is ridiculous. So, we go on with levels of foolishness, immaturity, but then we also have to take into consideration education and development. Because if you raised as a savage, we shouldn't be shocked that you're not a civilized acting individual. If you're raised as a savage, but even if you're a savage, you still have a concept of what's right and wrong.
Exactly.
Because if not, I mean, what anything can be done to you, and it's no offense, right? Because you don't know no difference between right and wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Fact. Let me go to Joseph.
Right. But maturity and development does have a role in it. And let's not confuse age and size with that, because again, sometimes age just show up all by itself. But as men and men being men and men, iron sharpening iron, that's where we have to do a better job of holding the standard and not tolerating a whole lot of foolishness. That's why we have this type of thing. These people want to play games. You broke in my car. Why you breaking my car? I needed a radio. What you mean you need a radio? Go to the store and buy one. You had the radio. I need the radio. I broke your window, tore up your dashboard to get the radio. So that's as far as your thought process goes. Okay. Well, that's where this thing called a baseball bat, a belt, a bullet is gonna help your understanding.
Wow. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother?
Yes, I think when you treat people right, I mean, it's not hard to figure out what's right and wrong. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I don't care what color they are. I don't care who they are. I'm determined to not leave this earth without treating people the way I want to be treated. Badger sent me something very interesting and very powerful about the letter that Christopher Columbus sent to Queen Isabella and Ferdinand. The letter from Christopher Columbus was that come on over to these islands. The people are not armed. They are not witty. They do not understand the wiles of the Europeans, and you could possess their land very easily. That's wrong. That's not right.
Yeah.
But that is the opinion that some people hold toward indigenous people, people of color, etc., etc. So I'm aware of who I coexist with. I'm aware of the ideas and attitudes, very much so. But I won't stoop to nobody's level. Okay? I won't stoop to nobody's level. But I don't walk in cowardice either. Bring your lunch. Okay? If you're going to engage in a fight with me, bring your lunch. It's not going to be a simple affair. We're going to be there a while.
Yeah.
So I believe in that. And I believe that the wicked need to be acknowledged as wicked. But I don't want to be the aggressor. I don't believe in aggression. And in fact, I agree with St. Augustine, who gave the Christian church its doctrine for fighting wars. He said a just war is to stop an aggressor. An unjust war is when you are the aggressor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't ever plan to be the aggressor, but I'm not going to lay down.
Exactly. Wow,
All
that's
right.
good. That's good. We got one more square, and people been asking me, they say, how in the world you gonna have real men being men, and you never ever, y'all never ever talk about sports? And of the ones that's been here for years, we barely ever bring that topic up. We barely ever on here. Rico, Leonard, both of you been on here for quite a while. How often do we talk about sports?
We might hint on it here and there, but it ain't never really no deep conversation.
Yeah.
Right. It don't never be no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody has to say, when you gonna talk about sports? Well, we got one more square, and we're gonna talk about sports tonight. And I hope y'all are listening, because it'd probably be months before we visit it again. And so if you missed, if whatever reason you missed, you need to go back and revisit this particular broadcast, because we may never talk about sports again for months, because that's not the purpose of why we're here. We do have a sports show, and we talk about sports on that sports show that we actually are about to kick back up again. But Rico, I'm gonna start it off with you, brother. Who is in from the time you could go back to maybe the 70s till today, who is the greatest running back you think of all times?
Well, since you making me leave out Jim Brown, Barry Sanders.
Okay. Wow. What year did Jim Brown play? He played before the 70s?
He was in the 60s.
60s. Okay. Well, let's add him in. Who, if you could go back even that far, would he be your greatest?
That's 1A and 1B.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got you. So you would say it's Jim Brown. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, who is the greatest running back of all time in history? We're not gonna put no time frame on in history.
You know what? I don't really have one. I tend to I love football, but I like Barry Sanders. I used to love to see him play.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you like him, you also like Gale Sayers then.
No, I don't know Gale Sayers.
Okay.
I'm not as old as you. I mean, I watched some real.
Okay.
But I think I like Barry Sanders. I think man, they all so talented, because you can't get there and be no slouch. Ain't no slouchy running backs, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that position right there is probably, it's like that point guard almost, I guess. I love my man for the Saints. We got right now.
Camaro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that dude is awesome to watch. But Barry Sanders, I remember as a kid. And I remember more of like fullbacks. I don't think they really talk about fullbacks as much. But you got like Riggins.
Yeah.
And guys that would just tear front defensive lines just run through them like they wasn't there sometimes.
Earl Campbell.
Those types of guys. But I like Barry Sanders. I think I know the most probably about Barry Sanders, following him as a kid and things like that. But I ain't seen a running back that was a slouch. Like what would Bettis, for instance. Guys that used to just really push offensive line if necessary.
Exactly.
But those were more like fullbacks, I guess.
Yeah.
The running backs getting away. The fullback, he busting through he just gonna try to go through you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Barry Sanders, I remember him very vividly growing up, because I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. So in the Lions, back then, Barry Sanders was still that guy, Hall of Famer, man, Barry Sanders.
Yeah, and did it without a line. Truthfully, he did it without a line.
It didn't matter.
Without a line.
It didn't matter.
Yeah,
that joker looked like he was he looked like he was on a football field with ice skates on.
Yeah,
boy.
They had on ice skates and he had on cleats.
Yeah,
like they just couldn't grab
him. And see, that's what people don't realize, man. That brother did that. He did all of that without a line, man. Didn't have him. and people, a lot of times people say Emmett was better or blah blah blah. Emmett had a line, man. Emmett had
the line a historic line.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and
man, you look at the holes he had, man, and I could have ran through them for 10 yards, man. I ain't lying, man. I mean, that joker had holes, man, but Barry was making people miss in the backfield.
Yeah, exactly. And cut on a dime, man. Cut on a dime. You man, look here. Let me go to Cap. Exactly. Cap, who's the greatest running back of all times?
Man, you got me. I never was in the. I don't know too much about football. I probably got involved in football in the last 5 years. That's only because Ohio State was champs. So I couldn't end in that conversation. In the nation, we shunned sports. The only man that was our hero was Muhammad Ali. Now, if you ask me about a little boxing, I'm gonna tell y'all, and that's it. I can't lend in the fellas of basketball, football, baseball. Y'all lost captain on that subject.
So was Muhammad the greatest boxer of all times?
At all times. All times.
He said all times. Good deal. Cornelius, who is the greatest running? I know what he's gonna say because I know where he's from. But anyway, I'm gonna ask the question anyway, brother. Who is the greatest running back of all times? I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead, answer the question.
You already know. And you know what? I am pleasantly happy to hear these brothers that's not from Detroit talk about Barry Sanders. My heart is over here just overjoyed right now.
Papillating, your heart just papillating.
You know, and that's all I'm saying, man. But I'm gonna say this. I will add this to this. If this brother don't get hurt, man, and blow his hip, he would have been something great. Bo Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Bo Jackson was that dude.
Nasty.
He was that dude, man.
Exactly.
He was. I'm gonna tell you, man. Bo Jackson was something special. If he don't get hurt, man, he'd have been doing some great things. But you know, Barry Sanders is my man. I loved him, root for him. I was so hurt when he retired because I really wanted him to take down Walter Payton's record.
He had to, though. He had to.
And then to hear him drop to number 4 all time in rushing because he retired early, and the guy Al Gore took him down because he had a longer career.
Yeah.
Frank Gore.
So
Frank Gore. Yeah. Frank Gore.
Yeah, Frank Gore. I'm sorry, not Al Gore. Yeah, Frank Gore. And that's the whole thing. But Barry Sanders, man, and that's part of the reason why Barry Sanders retired. The line that y'all talking about, his offensive line, the offensive line he did have, the guys that the center, Kevin Glover and Lomas Brown and those guys, Detroit would not pay them guys.
Yep.
And that's why Barry Sanders like, y'all not trying to win. So I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done with the game. He stepped away, but Barry Sanders was the greatest of all time to me, and much respect to Emmett. And I'm gonna end it with this, and I got to get ready to go back to work, Raheem. I'm gonna end it with this.
Okay.
Emmitt Smith. I don't think we talk about, because we thought that Kareem's record was never going to fall, and LeBron took it down. I'm thinking the record that Emmitt Smith has put up, because of the way they're running backs now, they're running 2 to 3 running backs at a time. You don't have them workhorse running backs like they used to have back in the day. I think his record will never fall.
Derrick Henry
I
coming
would be totally shocked if I'm still alive. I think Emmitt Smith's record will stand the test of time.
Rico said that Derrick Henry might take it.
But
with Tennessee.
But remember, he's been getting hurt like a lot lately. So you know, in a running back's longevity is what it used to be. Their career average, if you go back within the last 10 years, the best running backs have not stayed in the league over 7 years. Because remember Adrian Peterson, that dude was coming, but his career was cut short. I'm telling you, Derrick Henry's good, but he's been getting hurt a lot lately. So I'm saying if he can maintain and keep healthy, maybe so. But I'm telling you, man, the way it's going, that record may stand the test of time. And I say that about Kareem's scoring record, but LeBron took it down. But we'll see. But man, I got to get ready to go. God bless.
Hey, bless you, brother. Appreciate you.
But before you go, just make sure that he heard and understood that he said he wanted him to take down Walter the Sweetness Payton's record. So you already know who the greatest is.
Oh Lord, see. So you casting your vote for Sweetness,
and it's called the Walter Payton Award. Walter Payton has his own award.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to leave thinking Adrian Peterson had a short career. 15 years ain't short for a running back in the NFL. He just retired like year before last. So yeah, Adrian Peterson had a good, long, solid career.
Yeah, but we got to be honest too, man. The last couple of years in the league, man, he was just going for a check, man.
He still play. I mean,
he still play.
You ain't no slouch if you're on the NFL team. I mean,
Yeah.
Leonard just said that a second ago. You ain't no slouch at running back. He was still actually. I mean, he was actually trying to play when he finally just had to let it go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he had no choice. Ryan, who was your? I already know. I know where this brother from, man. But watch this. We gonna ask the question anyway, Ryan. Who was the greatest running back of all times?
Man, I'm not even involved in sports, and I can tell you right off the rip, it's Barry. You can't go no other way. You just can't. I remember maybe when I was younger, I used to be real into sports, but it was never football for me. It was always basketball. It was always hockey. You know, gotta let the white side out sometimes.
That's ours too. Hockey is ours too now.
It is now.
Nova Scotia.
It is now. It's changed. It's changed. Everything changed.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I remember just watching Barry tear everything up, and just, you know, even as a person who's not a fan of football, watching that man work was a thing of art.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to just watch that athleticism come out, that agility, that strength. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Barry.
I wonder why nobody even gave any mention at all of Billy Sims, man. Nobody said anything about Billy Sims. Billy Sims was a beast too now.
Dude, ain't nobody who Cap still on?
No, he just hung up.
Anybody on still over 60? Anybody?
And then he said the greatest. Come on, we gonna just throw Billy Sims at the top when he said the greatest in Detroit history. He said the greatest running backs of all time. You know, and Cornelius hit something on the head, man, because Jim Brown had a very short career too. I mean, if you give Jim Brown or Barry Sanders, either one of them, the same 12-year, 11-year career that Emmitt Smith had, and they would have put that record out of reach. Give either one of them the same amount of years that Walter Payton had, and Jim Brown and Barry Sanders both put that record out of reach.
Yeah, absolutely.
They did that in like 8 or 9 seasons, man.
Exactly. Toussaint, who do you say is the greatest running back of all times?
I hear y'all talking, and you know I hadn't been a sports fan since the Saints won the Super Bowl.
Oh Lord Jesus.
And I stopped watching. I hadn't watched a game since.
I got my hat right next to me.
But I remember, you know, you know what? I hear Barry Sanders now. I'll agree. O.J. Simpson, and Earl Campbell. To me, Earl, this dude has some thighs that you couldn't take down.
Yeah.
You just couldn't do it. I mean, that was the guy when I was coming up.
Couldn't hold him.
So after, say it again.
You couldn't hold him. Ain't no arm tackling that fella, man. Ain't no arm tackling.
You couldn't. No, I mean you couldn't. I mean, and you hit him. You think you hit him low and he was coming down? No, sirree. He would hit you. Yeah. So after him, I kind of drifted off. So I'm gonna have to stay with Earl, because after that I kind of went in another way.
Okay, got you.
I think what brought me, because I got away from football because my coach, I was pretty good at what I thought I was anyway. You know,
Mhm.
we all thought we was.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
when the coach grabbed me around the collar, I was done
Mhm.
with football and everything else. I don't do that one. But yeah, I still say Earl Campbell.
You can take all this equipment. I ain't you grabbing me, man. You can take all this equipment and keep it.
I'm out. I'm out.
Now,
Made me get, yes, sir.
exactly. Let me go to Ryan. Ryan, you still with us? Ryan, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time? If not, who?
I mean, I used to default to Joe Montana.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Used to always default to him when I was asked that question. But Tom, he can go like this, and almost all them fingers covered. So you can't argue with that. What's right is right, right?
So do we equate the greatest with championships? Because if that be the case, my man got 11 or 12 championships in the NBA, but they never say he's the greatest of all times.
Yeah, but if
you
take them championship rings that he got, and you go look at his yardage, you know, his skill, his finesse, and all of those things.
But don't
like I said,
Montana line up with that though? I mean, it's almost
it
mirror.
does.
Yeah.
Like you'll never be able to tell me that Joe Montana isn't, like Rico said, 1A and 1B, those two guys. Like I said, I'm not even all that much into football, but I tell you what, I had me a Sega Genesis, and I played Joe Montana Sports Talk Football just because Joe Montana's name was on the cartridge.
Good deal. Good. And see, I'm gonna tell y'all something that a lot of people don't get this guy credit for because of the fact that they did not allow him to play in the NFL. He had to go up to Canada. And Rico, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Warren Moon. Had Warren Moon came out of college and went straight to the NFL, all the stuff that he did in Calvary and what he did when he got to the NFL when he was older, man, that dude was nasty, man. Warren Moon. They would not let him play. They had this stigma in their mind about black quarterbacks and stuff like this, man. But Warren Moon, had he come into the league straight out of college, and man, Rico, go ahead, brother. I'm alley-oop, brother. Go ahead, handle it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he would have put up numbers that would have, we talking about putting numbers out of reach.
Yeah,
he would have been putting up numbers that people were putting up today. Now I don't know if he would have won all those Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you still got other teams that any given Sunday they could beat you. It don't take but a field goal or a fumble to mess something up. But as far as statistically, man, he put up numbers in a shorter career that most people didn't put up in their whole career. And broke records. You get what I'm saying? Set records. So yeah, I feel like if he would have, you know, actually started right out into the NFL, he probably would still have numbers right now that, you know, Tom Brady probably still would have been chasing with the longer career, because Tom got about 20 years in.
Yeah.
But Tom is the GOAT though. Tom is the GOAT, man. I mean, you add in the Super Bowl victories, you add in the Super Bowl losses, and then you add in the opportunities to play to go to Super Bowl. I mean, just think about it, man. They had a dynasty that if they wasn't in the Super Bowl, they was planning to go to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts probably had to beat them to go to the Super Bowl. Denver probably had to beat them to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So Tom Brady, I mean, the Patriots was always in the midst, even when they didn't go to the Super Bowl, man. Most years they was in the playoffs at least. So yeah, man, that dude went to Tampa Bay and won one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Leonard, who would you say the greatest quarterback is of all times? If it's not Tom Brady, then who?
Well, I don't like Tom Brady, but
it ain't got nothing to do with liking. He ain't got nothing to do with that.
Well,
now.
He got the hardware to prove it.
Yeah,
he got the stats. You know, my boy is Breeze. I like Breeze.
You
know, Drew Brees. As a child, it was Terry Bradshaw, no doubt. It was Terry Bradshaw. That was my dude back then. However, it was just so many great quarterbacks. I used to have West Coast offense that, like my man said, like Joe Montana. I think he was that guy then, you know, but I don't think anybody is going to do what Tom Brady has done. You know, you can put some asterisks by a couple of them.
Oh yeah, quite a few of them.
Because you know he's not a person of integrity.
Wow.
But you can't take away his success. You just
Mhm.
can't. You don't. I mean, when you don't want to play a guy, he good.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
you just don't want to look across there and see Tom Brady, so man, I can imagine being a player and have to play Tom Brady.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
seen this man make folk just break down crying, bro.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, like folks that still in basketball hold things against Michael Jordan because he was so great,
Mhm. Mhm.
but yeah, hands down, I think Tom Brady, you can't walk in there with your mouth with, talking that trash because this guy this way I make a way out of no way. And that's dangerous on the field, man. To
Mhm.
watch this guy. And it ain't like he was the greatest guy to really watch, but you knew minute and a half, he beat you, man.
Yeah. He had
No
that
matter
precision.
how bad he was down,
Yep.
this guy would find a way to beat you.
Mhm. He had that position on the passes, man, and he just had that don't die attitude, man.
Yeah,
That
we won't see New England no more like we saw New England because of this man.
Mhm.
You
What
know
about?
what? He showed it in college though, man. I mean, you know how sometimes you could see somebody got that it factor.
Mhm.
I called it when he beat Alabama in that last bowl game. Him and I think the receiver's name was David Tyree. And
Mhm.
man, they came back and just slung the ball all over Alabama, man. And he just, for some reason, that game, they was talking about he was gonna go play baseball. But now it was the other quarterback that had started that was talking about gonna play baseball, but he never did. They never would get him to start because of this one guy. I think it wasn't Chad Henne, but it was some other guy that was starting in front of him. But Tom Brady, he showed out in that game. And then it didn't. I wasn't surprised when he went to New England. But if y'all slipping on Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Rico. I go with you on that.
Mhm. Mhm. Is he great?
He will be. He will be.
Wow.
hey, he's doing some stuff that ain't never been done before, man. I mean, this man done been the division championship ever since he been in the league. He done been playing to go to the Super Bowl or in it.
Mhm.
Still young.
Everybody thought that when he lost Hill, they thought it was gonna put a dent in him. Thought it was gonna hurt him when he lost Hill because you to lose a player like that, man. In normal situations, it will hurt you. In normal situations, that'll hurt you. But he just stepped up, man, and showed and just won the Super Bowl, even without him. Even without him. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Tucson, you there?
No, I'm just listening to y'all, man.
Okay. Well, stick around. I'm gonna get you the prayers out at the end. Okay.
I got some things going on, Raheem, so I'm just listening in.
Okay.
You go right here.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Ryan, talk to me, brother. Is Tom Brady the greatest of all time? If he is, who do you see that would have a potential or possibility that's playing right now would have a possibility of matching him or exceeding him?
Like I said, brother, I don't watch the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I'm concerned, Tom is the GOAT, and that's it. So
Okay. Leonard, so you said that you agree with Rico in regards to Patrick. Is there anybody else?
Well, let's not count out, Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
He matched Patrick. Hey, that was a Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, it was. It was.
You didn't know which way that money was going. I mean, you didn't. It went down like it should have went down. You had two great young athletic guys that's gonna really set the pace for these next few years.
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick Mahomes, I believe, is a guy of integrity. I love. He's very faithful about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's very humble. And I just don't think that, like, I go with Rico on that.
Yeah.
On Patrick Mahomes, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't see, he don't look worried about nothing. He's just confident in himself, and it's not arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching Magic Johnson, my favorite of all time. He just
Mm-hmm.
made for it.
Wow.
He just
Wow.
made for it, and I think he's gonna be blessed like that. going forward because of how he approaches the game.
Okay. Now, Rico said that Burrow, and I agree with him. Burrow's gonna be a beast too, man. Cincinnati, that boy's gonna be a beast, man. He's gonna be a beast. We gonna talk about Burrow.
That's another one, man. He caught my eye his senior season, and then that game they played against Texas and went back and forth, and it was like every time Texas scored, he just like what Leonard said about it, like you just got ice in your veins, man. Just you already know. I don't care. It's our turn. You know, when a person go out on the field and they look like, oh, we gonna score, they ain't got no panic, but it look like, okay, it's our turn to score now.
Yeah.
And that's where that Super Bowl went down. Both Jalen and Patrick both looked like, okay, my turn. Like they knew they was gonna score, but that's the way Burrow played his senior year, man, and he did it the whole season. They matched us until we lost Tua and went ahead and took everything. But I pretty much, after I saw him playing that Texas game, I knew then that he was different. Some people, I mean, you got to be special to get to that level of a professional athlete, but then to be the elite of the elite, you got to be special, man. You gotta be special to be the elite of the elite, because those guys ain't no chumps. Even the bench warmers, the people on the practice squad ain't no chumps.
And see, y'all talk about Tom Brady is the GOAT. And it's hard to debate that. It's hard to debate that. But look at the beginning of even his career. He came off the bench, man. When your boy got hurt, Tom Brady was riding the bench. He was in New Orleans riding. He was on the pine, man.
Yeah.
He was in
New England. He was behind Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I said he was on the bench. He was on the bench behind Drew Bledsoe. When Drew Bledsoe got hurt, that's when they put Brady in the game, and Drew Bledsoe couldn't get his job back, man. He couldn't get his job back because he was creating magic, man. But for a long time, he sat on the bench. He had to wait his turn, and he went into the game. When he went into the game, man, there was no turning back. There was no turning back. We got to get out of here. Anybody have anything they want to say before we get out of here? We're going to do our closing remarks. Then we're going to get Tucson, if we can get him to do so, to pray us out this evening. Anybody got anything else they want to say about sports? Okay, good. See, y'all, that's why we don't talk about sports on here a lot, man. You know, we don't talk about sports on here.
I did have one thing, because I don't know if Cap's still on or not.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask him about Kareem and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. You know, who was Chris Jackson.
Yeah.
Because when he said that about, they don't really pay attention to sports like that. It was just about Muhammad Ali. But, I did want to ask him about, Kareem and Mahmoud, because I know they were big in Islam too. I didn't know how they were received. I know how Muhammad was received, but I don't know how the other two were received. I was just wondering about that.
I think one of the things that made Muhammad so impactful was because he was so great at what he did, and the stance that he took on both in sports and outside of sports. He took a lot of stance, man. He told him, look here, man, I'm not going over there and fight. Went to jail for a few years and came back and recapped. They naturally took his title when he went to jail because of the fact he would not go to the war. And he came back and he made that stance. Because a lot of time it's based on people making certain stances. And when a person makes a stance, stand up for something, people look at what's his name, Kaepernick. Kaepernick made a stance, man. He took a stand, and he lost a lot. And I'm certainly not trying to put him and Muhammad Ali in the same category, but he made a stance. And so,
but Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf did the same thing
too. Yeah. But it's timing, though. The timing was different. I think the time was different. I respect both of them. I love and respect both of them. But I think.
But remember, Kareem was not that guy.
What do you mean?
Kareem just went to work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kareem had to go back and apologize here recently for that mentality that a lot of folks had, man. Shut up and just play ball.
Yeah.
Kareem was to himself.
Yeah, he was.
And he was there to work.
Kareem will fight you too now. You don't think he won't fight you.
But now he was them guy. He just played basketball. That was his thing. He wasn't the guy to just put it on the line because of this, that, or the other like that.
Have there ever been a shot in the whole NBA career that was more effective than that Sky Hope?
Well, you couldn't do nothing with Kareem. That's why he was so dominant, because you could not stop him. I mean, from
That's
the
a guy.
outside, he was dangerous. From the inside, he was dangerous. His game did not change. He did not have to change it. It was like one with AAU right now and things like that. You got kids playing right now, and then you got a boy 13 years old. He already 6 feet tall. But his age qualifies him to play, and he look out there. You just throw it to him. He can just throw it in the basket. He dunking almost already.
Just throw the ball up in the air. He'll get it. Just throw the ball in there. He'll get it. You ain't got to aim. Just throw the ball in his direction.
All little kids just run around, and you see them, they just jumping up trying to. You can't. So them seven,
it's like
you can't do nothing with it, man.
You remember no, who was it? Spud Webb try to guard Jordan at the time, and Jordan just put his hand on the forehead.
Come on, man.
It's almost like that, man. They were totally disrespectful. Total disrespectful.
But I like the way he came out and apologized to the younger guys that stand up for what's right now.
Yeah.
And they just don't just play, shut up and play ball. Shut up and dribble.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna go around right now, give everybody an opportunity to say what they want to say in their closing. Let me start with Toussaint. Toussaint, in your closing, sir. Toussaint.
Yeah. Be true to yourself.
Plain.
Even when nobody else agrees.
That's good.
Sometimes you get caught in the wrong, but be true to yourself.
Absolutely. Good deal.
No matter who you are, where you come from, what you believe. That's my closing thought.
Good deal. And Toussaint, stick around. I want to get you to pray us out, brother. Leonard, in your closing.
Man, I think I will go back to part of my reading scripture today.
Okay.
And I was reading, man, if you get a chance, read Romans. From beginning to end. All these issues that people fight about as it relates to the scriptures and the word of God or what have you, Romans was excellent, and it would make you think so hard on this notion of right or wrong, righteous, unrighteous, who will and who won't be saved, what is required, and things of that nature. And then you'll come to the fact that, you know what, without the Holy Ghost, it ain't nothing. Without man, everybody, salvation is the way. Because we all so wrong. We can be so wrong. And we can't be stuck on stupid like that.
Yep.
So don't hold on to stuff you can't prove. Don't hold on to nothing you don't know.
Was stuck on stupid, riding on dumb, on your way to ignorant as hello. Right. In your closing, sir. Heal again. There you go.
Man, we touched on so many different things tonight. And I think the one thing that I'll close with is fear. Fear is dangerous, but fear can also build you up because you know what's coming at you. You know what you're afraid of, and you can recognize that, and you can use that as a strength. I can't remember who it was that was talking tonight about restless sleep.
Leonard.
And Leonard. Leonard, I deal with the same thing. I can't sleep longer than 4 hours because of what goes on up in here. And it's a lot of things that I've dealt with over my life, whether it's abuse or seeing people killed, having to deal with dead bodies, having to deal with all of these different things that I dealt with. It puts a humongous strain on myself being able to sleep. If I sleep too long, you head into that dream state. And at that point, you can't really control what's going on. So I feel you. But I will say this. If there's a way for brothers like us to overcome that lack of sleep, we got to find it. We got to work on it together, because I'm telling you right now, I'm dealing with some new things in my life as far as health conditions is concerned. And a lot of it ties back into sleep. So we got to figure out a way to overcome that, because sleep is important to our bodies and our mind states.
Absolutely. Very important. Very important. Rico?
Yeah, same here, man. I think that's really an indication of how life is now that I'm hearing other people say the same thing. You know, I've been like this since high school, man. That's what stress and being traumatized will do to you. Especially when you've been traumatized at a young age. You know, you deal with anxiety and every little noise that make you wake up. You know, you've been abused. So, you know, yeah, I go through that too, man. And it's like, you know, like I said, I went to sleep last night at 10:30 and I was up at 1:59. When I finally decided to look and see what time it was 1:59, and that was after I laid there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Then I laid there for a second again. Maybe I'm gonna go to sleep. I was like, nah. So I was out walking this morning before 3:00.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? Dog.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it was funny when you asked that question about what is right. You know, similar to that. And somebody read the definition and mentioned that about good. But we also have to realize and remember that good for who? Good for who?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you look at 1% and the corporation and the people that don't want to, you know, raise minimum wage and stuff like that, or that's causing inflation, that's good for them, but it ain't good for everybody else. So good for who? You know, but I will say that if you do want to think about right, whether it's in a situation or in treatment, I think it all still comes down to humane fairness, just being humanely fair, you know. But in the same time, if you do want to be right, always make an effort to be right, because all it takes is for you to be the right person in the right time in the right place to change history.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. Toussaint.
Yes, sir.
Can I get you the prayers out, sir?
Yes, sir.
So, God our Father, we come now and we say thank you. God, thank you for
Real men being men. We get an opportunity to just talk to each other and reflect on really how you have been shaping and forming us and making us into who and what you want us to be. Now, God, we ask that you just make us better in our homes, in our lives, with our family, our friends, in this society. Help us give you glory, our desire. Bless us as we go through the night. Keep us in your care. Watch over us like when you can. Pray that you will give us sweet rest in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and I want to thank everybody for giving us the opportunity to spend this time with them and be on Real Men Being Men. I know it's kind of late and everything. I definitely appreciate you all hanging out and sticking and around and watching. Even though tonight we talked about something we don't talk about, we hardly ever talk about sports, but it was a great conversation all together, man. I love the transparency that everybody brings forward. I think that this Real Men Being Men is really helping all of us in a maybe it's a different way for each and every one of us, but I think it helps all of us. I think it helps all of us. I really do. It helps me. I can speak directly for me. It does help me, man, having all the other brothers coming on, man, and talking about the things from their standpoint and what they've gone through. I think it's a great building block. I really do. And I appreciate each and every one that come on. And you all just listening and watching, you're more than welcome to be a part of it as well. You're more than welcome to be a part of it. You need to, if you feel like you need to come and be a part of this family, come and join this family, because that's what we are. We just tell them one more time, Ryan. Tell them one more time, Ryan. Come on.
Come on.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for joining. This is now 10. What is it? 10:09. You're about to exit Real Men Being Men. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light in for Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great evening. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. they would appreciate it, and I'm sure you will as well. See you in the morning. See you in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning for the Morning Glow right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. Love ya.